Now, let's see how this is done from scratch. Let's create a new scene. We don't need to save the changes. So let's go ahead and create a panel. Very simple scene. We need a input field. Let's go into 2D, make this a bit easier to edit. Let's add in text and a couple of buttons. Control and D will duplicate that button for us. Alright, so let's have a save button, a load button. Let's add in some load text and some save text. I'm going to be replicating some parts of the example scene we just showed to show how it's pretty much all done. So let's add the save here. Load. Here's our text field. Let's put that out of the way. And here's our input field. So let's start with the input field. Let's add in a persistent reference. So it needs a component that it's going to reference. Here it created a random unique file name that you can use, or you can rename it as you want. Input field data, that seems fine. So let's reference the input field on there, and let's pick some members to save. Let's just go ahead and save the text value. We'll save it in binary and JSON. That way we can read it in the folder path, and we'll load it back in JSON in this instance. So in the save and load button, we'd like to reference the input field and the persistent reference, one for each. So for the load, we'll be loading the data, and for the save, we'll be saving the data. So now the data is saved and loaded, and it will reflect into this input field. So let's go ahead and give that a quick test. So there's no data to load. Let's go ahead and add something. And let's save that data. Now the data should be saved. Let's exit. We can check quickly. Remember, our file name was input field data. So we can go in here and see input field data has been saved in JSON and binary format. Let's do a quick Sublime to make it official. And here's our data. I'm back. So now let's see if that data can be loaded back up. This is Unity's UI. It does that every time. So the data automatically loads right back into the field. So I can clear that and load it back up. The reason it presented itself automatically is because here we're saying on start, load the data back up. So it's going to automatically load it and fill that field with the data. If we didn't want that to happen, we would turn off the auto, like I mentioned before. So now when I hit play, the data is not going to be automatically loaded or saved. We're going to have to specify that. And now I'm back. And it's that this simple to save and load data with persistent save data.